podcast. Welcome, lovers and friends, to the She-E.O podcast. I'm your host, Kelsey Nykole, and this is a raw, real, conversational type of podcast where we talk about love, life, and leadership as a female entrepreneur. Today, I have an amazing She-E.O in the building. This is Miss Terica Bowo of Weight Drip. Yes. Go ahead and tell them about yourself, girl.
Hi, y'all. So I am the owner of Weight Drip Twerk House out in South Atlanta. Relocating from Indy, out here doing my thing as a Black-owned female entrepreneur. I'm out here doing what I can to change the narrative when it comes to sexy and women, the two in a sentence. You know, the immediate guilt and shame that we feel when operating in those two beings. I just want to shed light on being sexy, being authentic, being unapologetically you. And I use twerk fitness as kind of a pathway to that, simply because that too was so shamed upon. So within our culture, just kind of taking it back. So just wanting to let women know that you can be sexy. You can use your body to release and heal trauma, rather than it being more of a victim type of thing, kind of changing the narrative on that. So yeah.
Okay, so tell us about Twerk House.
Yes. So it's south side of Atlanta. It is an all women's fitness gym where we do different things such as obviously twerk fitness, but also I tap into a lot of sensual stretch classes, bring in more yoga, bring in more different type of fitness that doesn't feel like fitness. I'm all about being lit, about being hype, about dancing, about having fun. It's also an event space. So yeah, really tapping into all things woman, all things sexy, all things twerk, and all things healing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about Weight Drip.
Yes. So Weight Drip is the second part of my brand. I rebranded back in 2019. Moving to Atlanta in 2020. But in 2017, my brand originated, which at the time was Seduce the Weight. So at the time, I always have had like women in my mind with the name Seduce the Weight. No men wanted to come, which is great because I only want to target women anyway. But at the time, it was more heels fitness focused. So we did a lot of heels choreography, and I had the bright idea to combine fitness with it. So I had just had my son. I was battling postpartum depression. I absolutely hated my body. And right before I got pregnant, I had just got into fitness. So it was something that I had learned that I loved a lot. It was really healing for me. So I wanted to pick it back up, but I wanted to do it in a way where I could be consistent. Two things I learned right before I got pregnant was I do better in group settings, and then two, boot camp kind of style things, or more so just feminine based groups. So I kind of took that ideology and put it together, and I knew I wanted to dance. I miss dancing. I kind of been dancing since I was a kid. So I put this together, and for me, when I started to dance, I was like, I wanted to be sexy. Like naturally, my body just wanted to be sexy. It's 12/12 Ashe. But I was just like, you're right. I was just like, I want this to be for me. I want this to be, judgment free. I want it to be a thing, because, healing from sexual trauma, I didn't want to close that part of me off because of that. So I kind of wanted to use it as a way to embrace it, more so run from it. That's just who I always have naturally been as a majorette coach back in high school. It was just always sexy, move your body, roll, pop, twirl, twist. So I just wanted to add it all together, and I did, and it was a hit.
Dope. And then that developed into the products and the creams and the trainers and everything.
Yep. Funny story. Like, okay, so with me teaching the classes, this is when Amazon had first got pop. Well, the Prime thing had just got popping where you can order something and get it in 2 days. And I had ordered a Sweet Sweat belt. At the time, it was like that combo they were doing for like $25 where you get the stick and the belt for $25. And I started wearing it in class. And everybody would be like at the end of the class, like, yo, like, where you get that belt and that cream from? Like, we want one. And I was like, okay, well, y'all can just cash out me the $25, and I'll order it on my Prime, because everybody didn't have Prime at the time. It was like hot shit. If you got Prime, you was a big deal. So I used the money, and I would have it to them at the next class, and it was just so many transactions, and I was just like, yo, this could be them paying me for my own shit. Like, what am I doing? Why am I promoting somebody else's brand like this? Sweet Sweat owed me some money. Cause I really did put on, like, so many women was just wanting that. So I got in my kitchen. I started playing around with different textures and different oils that I felt like I did my research on essential oils that were natural. I wanted it to be a natural thing. That's when I learned that camphor was all natural. I did not know that, which is the same stuff that's in like Vicks. I thought it was a toxic, something, but no, it's actually an essential oil that's natural. So I was able to easily, just kind of curate the texture and the ingredients for it. And it was trash at first. It was really fucking trash. No cap. Ooh, can I cuss?
You can.
Ooh, okay, I'm like, my bad.
This is raw, real, conversational.
It was so trash, y'all, because I was using bentonite clay. And that's real clumpy and it's green. So I was using that with the coconut oil texture, and it was just like, yo. But here's the thing, they were still fucking buying it. They were still buying it. I was just like, why y'all even want this? It's so trash. I don't even really know I don't know, but they were buying it. So, and it was to the point where I was doing delivery. So it was in the jar and the plastic bag because it will leak. The jar was so terrible that the cream will leak out by the time I would deliver to people, and the label was sliding off and they were still buying it. Wow. So over the years, if you go and look on my website now, we're even on Amazon Prime. It's funny. Wow. Full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle. We are now on Amazon Prime. And if you look at the texture, I need to post a picture. I'm going to go back and find the old packaging and the old pictures of it being how it was, me having to put it in a sandwich bag so it wouldn't leak, to now where the packaging is really, really dope. The product works. We have so many reviews. It's amazing. It heals bronchitis, asthma, so many different things we found out over the years that it helps with. So yeah, and the waist trainers, it was just one of those things. I didn't like the basic waist trainer that I got from Sweet Sweat, but I love that the inside of theirs was rubber. I was like, that's genius, because you got the cream that activates with heat, and then you got the rubber which creates heat. It works together. So yeah, I've had 3 or 4 different belts that I've released by now. Thinking about another one. So yeah, growth.
Dope. And see, this is the stuff that goes into entrepreneurship that people don't see, don't know. We post sometimes about our businesses on social media, and you go see what's up with the business. There's reviews, there's success, there's income, there's increase, there's abundance, there's overflow, and it looks easy. It looks like things happen overnight. It looks like, oh, you just post what you got going on. And no, there is so much that goes into not only starting a business as a small business, as an entrepreneur, especially as people of color, we don't always have the resources and the know-how and the ability to kind of pull things together on our own and to know actually how to start a business and keep a business going. They've been recently talking a lot about how, Black women are, top rated, entrepreneurs, where we have the most entrepreneurs that are starting businesses here recently as Black women. And it's like, the question is, are we keeping the businesses? Are we staying the course? because over time, you know, you go through trial and error. You go through, you know, tweaking things and revamping things and rebranding things and rethinking things. And, you know, it's tough to kind of get to the point where there's some level of consistency where you finally got it down pat. You finally have the branding right. You finally have the funding. Finally have, you know, there's so many things that, you know, go into starting a business and building a business other than, oh, just get your LLC and register through the state and boom, you have a business and get a website. There's so much more, especially when you have products and when you have, you know, you have to remain consistent and you have to remain, steadfast in the ideology of making sure that you're providing quality within your business, that you're not just, you know, giving things to people and it's trash, and you know, you're constantly trying to make sure you're giving your customers and a quality upgraded experience. So, you know, it's really dope to you know, hear about that kind of growth, because, you know, it's not easy. You know, building a business takes time. It doesn't happen overnight for most individuals, and it doesn't happen in the way that you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can start something and it's like, oh, you got to revamp it, and it ends up being something totally different when the people love it and want to buy into it and start putting out reviews that it's great. It's something totally different than what you started it as. So that's super dope. So you started, you know, doing your classes. You started, you know, doing the products in a certain way. And then at a point you were pretty much like just doing your products online. So how long were you online before you got your recent brick and mortar?
In all honesty, first, before I relocated, I remember I had a suitcase. I had a really big suitcase, and I would post up at this hair salon, and I would have people cash at me for, you had to pay before you picked it up, period. Like, it was just that. It wasn't a thing where you would, it was an open store every day for a certain amount of hours where you can just come in and shop. It was more so I had Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. and you had to already pay for it. So they would come into the hair salon between 6 to 8 and I would bag it up for them out of my suitcase. That's how it was. And then I got a small, like, what is it called? Suite. I ended up investing in a suite. Where same thing, you had to pay before you pick it up, couldn't come in and just shop. I had those same days. Then relocated to Atlanta, and that's when I went online. At first I did not have where you can order online. It was more so focused on in person. So when I relocated, I went online, and then it was like, so I lied. The website was there. But most of my customer base were in the city, so they did more of the pickup. Once I relocated, I gave them that option, and that was their only option. Like, okay, everybody got to order online now. I stopped doing products and services, honestly, last year. I was focused on my own healing. And when I came out of it, I just was like, I want my own studio. So I just did it. To this day, I don't know how, other than God. It was definitely God's grace, because even still every day I'd be like, how am I doing this? How? Where's the strength coming from? But then I remember what I pray for and what I've been praying for. So, yeah.
So how would you compare your experience being online, having all those orders coming in, having products coming to your house, having to ship them out, compared to actually having the capability of being in personal contact with them? Would you prefer online over, you know, having the personal contact?
Online and person. Okay, so I do like the in-person contact simply because I don't have to ship it. That is the part of my business that I hate. is shipping. I hate the packaging part. I hate putting it. Like, it's just so tedious, and I just feel like get somebody else to do it because it's so ghetto. It's so ghetto. So but I do love that online everything is right there. When they go, all the questions. I'm not answering the same questions over and over. But I do like the human interaction that I have when we can talk and. We make that, I don't know, something just happens. Something magical happens with all my customers when we meet in person and when we do the exchange, which kind of is my confirmation that I'm on the right path. Something magical is in that. But at the same time, I like my sleep coin. I like waking up to money made in my sleep. The orders are rolling in and I just have to go and get it to them. So I don't know. I like both for different reasons.
Okay. So what would you say is the best strategy to making sure that you are investing back into your business? Because I think a lot of people start making money and they forget that, like, the money you make in your business needs to go back into your business, needs to go back into purchasing more product, needs to go, because we start making money, seeing money, and then we start paying bills, and we start, getting things that we couldn't because we didn't have that money, what I'm saying, coming in. So what would you say is because I think that's a huge shortcoming for people when it comes to building a business, and when you start seeing the money coming in, making sure that you become disciplined enough to put that money back into the business so the business can stay consistent. Like, what do you feel like was one of your biggest strategies to stay disciplined in that area?
You're going to ask somebody else because I'm still working on that. I'm just being honest. Like, that is honestly the phase that I'm in right now. And honestly, I had no idea it was going to pan out like this. At one point, the money was coming in so good and fast I could do both. But then it did eventually catch up with me, and I was like, okay, sis, we're going to have to figure it out. And I think it's just having that financial knowledge in the first place, being knowledgeable about investing in the first place. And I will admit, as a Black woman, that is not a knowledge that I had. It's something that I'm teaching myself along the way. And I'm watching and I'm seeing different things now. Now I'm doing the research to be better in that area. But girl, I'm from the hood. I ain't have no knowledge of none of that kind of stuff. And I know there's so many hood people that do. I take that back, especially the street knowledge. It teaches you a lot when you're in the game. But that wasn't me because I ain't got no street knowledge either. So I'm out here just, learning and growing. And I promise I'm going to share with y'all when I know the answer. But right now, I just don't.
But that's so good, though. That's so good. Because I think that this is one of those missing links in the especially for us, especially for Black entrepreneurs. That's one of the missing links that is just not readily available for us to intake as Black people. We come from, impoverished environments. We come from the hood. We come from, these spaces and places where this is not common knowledge. And this needs to definitely be the shift when it comes to us as Black people, is teaching our kids the financial literacy that they are not going to show them or tell them about in school. Entrepreneurship and business ownership is not in the curriculum. And I think that it's a great route to take, and that it should be taught. It should be taught not even just to be an entrepreneur, but just as an adult who has to make money to survive, who needs to learn how to manage money and be responsible financially. Those tools are definitely a missing link with us as people of color who want to start businesses, who want to create more opportunity for ourselves. Learning how to, have multiple accounts and how to, every time $100 service is paid for, take 25 and put it in a savings, take 25 and put it in, an investment account, and then take the 50 and put it in the business account. Having that discipline,
is
everything. And it's such a good thing to have, especially when it comes to taxes.
Yes.
Because I think that's a big missing link that we don't learn about is when you get your LLC and you're registered through the state and you have to do business taxes and you made, 6 figures and now you have to pay 25, a quarter of that to the IRS. And it's like, where is it at?
Where is it at?
What did you do with all this money that you made? Did you put away a certain amount every time, every week, every time you made it? You made some income, and that is a true missing link in entrepreneurship, and even for myself, like that is. And you learn as you go.
You learn as you go.
You learn as you go.
Like you learn as you go. But girl, I felt that. Where's it at? Like, where is it at? I honestly be scared to look at how much I've made in the quarters because I'm like, where is it? But we learn as we go. Honestly, I'm grateful for, the journey and the lessons I've had along the way to make me say, okay, look, sis, something got to change because this money, and we got brick and mortar. So we know that ain't
that's a whole different ball game. having online businesses where you have everything at home, you don't have an extra rent, you don't have the overhead to, and then you need a team. Yeah. So you got to pay people on top of paying your personal rent and paying your business. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different plethora of new bills to pay. So, having a brick and mortar versus having an online or at home business is definitely a different step in entrepreneurship that is not for the weak at all. But I think it's a beautiful thing once you kind of start to grasp, the concept of it and then creating opportunity for other people to feed their families. Yeah. That's the most satisfying aspect of having a brick and mortar, having and building a business where you can allow other people to come in and eat off of what it is that you've cultivated. So it's a toughie though. It is a toughie because I was doing hair at home, before I got my brick and mortar, and having a location, I didn't know what to expect. Like you said, it's a whole lot of God. It's a whole lot of God going on, But you have this dream and you make it happen, and then you don't realize that you skip some steps and that there's some missing links and some things that you got to start tapping into real fast. You got to start growing up real fast in the business.
Fast. And it can be discouraging when you don't have a tribe to, because we wouldn't have known that we share some of the same missing links had we had not been able to have this conversation. So you get to feeling real alone and go, getting down on yourself about stuff, and that too, can play a part in how business starts to flow. So and you got to keep that energy right. Absolutely, because there's a knowledge aspect, and a literacy aspect, and then there is an energy aspect. There's absolutely an energy aspect that you and a mentality, that you have to develop as an entrepreneur to continue to stay in that position. Because, like you said, it can get discouraging. It can get real heavy real fast. It can start looking real ugly real fast. But you have to kind of have a mentality that goes with your strategy, and like I said, a whole lot of God. But with the wrong energy, you'll scare the money away. You'll scare the customers away, and money is energy, so it knows where it needs to flow and go. You know what I'm saying? And if you got the wrong type of energy, a scarcity, poverty mindset, it'll make it really hard to keep that money coming in consistently. And then speaking of money, a lot of people don't understand the dynamics of business funding. There's so many people, these gurus, these people pushing the narrative. Get business funding. I have $1 million in business funding. You can get this much in business funding and that much in business funding. But
they're not really giving the insight as to how that business funding game works.
Yes.
A lot of the business funding I was seeing people promoting was the MCA loan business funding.
I never heard of that.
So the merchant cash advance business loans are business loans that you can get extensive amount of money based off of sometimes based off of how much your business bank account will show you're making on a monthly basis.
Okay. Yes.
So I think these are terrible loans to push to start up small businesses. I think that startup small businesses are going to have so many ups and downs for the first maybe 1 to 3 years when it comes to income.
Yeah.
And with MCA loans, they actually take on a daily basis for you to pay it back.
Gotcha.
And that's the thing that people aren't thinking about. Yes, all this business funding is great. It sounds great to accumulate all this money, but you got to pay that back.
You got to pay it back.
That's debt. You
Yeah.
got to pay
You
that
gotta pay
back.
it back.
And they don't always give you the opportunity to pay it back how and when you want to pay it back, or how
Yeah.
and when you have it to pay it back. So getting business loans is you got to be at a level of steady income within your business.
Yeah.
You got to be at a level of financial discipline within your business
Yeah.
as well, because they'll have access to your business bank account and they'll take every day.
Yep.
Take something every time. If your business is not making money every day,
Yep.
some of these loans these people are out here pushing on to entrepreneurs to tap into are not good for startup and small business. Like, they're just not good ones. And then it's hard for startup and small business to actually acquire business funding, because no one's talking about the fact that to get some of the business funding that's a little more comfortable or on a monthly payment basis or from the big banks, your personal stuff has to be together.
Yep.
Your personal credit has to be together. And the majority of people of color, without this financial literacy being available in our youth, we come into adulthood and our credit is not together.
Yep.
Some of our parents have used our credit. Our credit is not together. And it's hard. It takes time, and it's a journey getting to a point where your personal credit is together enough
Right.
for getting business credit. So when it comes to like business funding, what have been some of your like difficulties or hang-ups or shortcomings in that area?
I personally don't like loans for that same reason. I have gotten one and I was like, never again. I do like the grants. I found it very easy to get them at one point, but I think my energy was different. I'm gonna take accountability for my own shit. Just having that lack mindset. I know when I first got here, I was so on go, like I can do anything. I feel so powerful and whatever I do, I'm gonna have, and whatever I want to have, I'm gonna have. So it was different at the time I was applying for the grants. There were so many just on this out here. Was it Hello Alice? Hello Alice is a really great resource for for grants for black owned businesses or women of color. They have a lot of stuff on there, and I was snatching them, but that was during COVID. Back and forth. The grants, the loans, just like you said. When I started doing my research on some of them, I was just like, I'm a little scared, because what if I ain't got it? When they want me to have it and da 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 da. But I would have to agree. I mean, me personally, if your business, if you're doing it for the sake of, let me get this loan so that I can leverage my cash flow, which is very much so flowing and it's doing really well. You're getting the loan not because you need it, but because you know about investing and you have the financial literacy and you have the knowledge and you know exactly what to do with that. You have a business plan. You got it all ironed out. You know all the steps. You know exactly what you're going to do when you get with it. And when you get the money, it has nothing to do with bills. It has nothing to do with catching up with this and this and that. It has nothing to do with taking trips. It has nothing to do with any of that. I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. And when I do that, it's going to make my money back tenfold. That's different. But if you're going in it to just to have have to get caught up. You do not get loans to get caught up.
Right.
I do not agree with that.
Right.
Because your caught up time may be somebody else, a completely different caught up time for someone else, and they are going off of one thing. They have really set stipulations, really set rules. You cannot bend or fold them. So what if? And but again, that goes into your belief system too. So
yeah, I think that there's a big push to get all this business funding, but there's not a big enough push to learn how to create business plans.
Yes.
There's not a big enough push to learn how to create business strategy.
Yeah.
There's not a big enough push of information and gurus and people out there trying to give the information on how to learn how to invest that money into marketing strategies so that your business is getting the proper exposure from your marketing and promoting, which is bringing in the clientele, which is bringing in the money, which is giving you the ability to pay the money back on a consistent basis.
Yes.
So that is, I really truly feel like that's a huge missing link, because recently I've seen, on my timeline on social medias, I see all these different people talking about business funding, loans and credit cards and debt. This is debt when it all boils down. And when you are utilizing these things and you have an LLC, even with an LLC, even if you don't have a personal guarantee, an LLC is still you're personally responsible for that money.
Yeah.
You can't get an LLC and get a business loan with no personal guarantee and think that they're not going to come for you when they need their money.
Yeah.
So I've listened to these people talk and brag about how much money they've accumulated as business owners with business credit. And that is, I just feel like it's irresponsible to push that narrative without giving the truth and the real about what it takes to really have success accumulating that kind of money, to really, push having financial discipline, literacy, responsibility, when it comes to building and maintaining a business. So that's a huge blood boiler for me when I see that happening on social media. But it be what it is.
It definitely be what it is.
So like, as an entrepreneur, as a female entrepreneur, what have been some of your challenges in relationships? When they have all this stuff going on about, women who are in business, who are making six figures, and how they'll, bring that to the table when it comes to dating, and how men don't care about that, and, things of that nature, and how it can be intimidating for a man to meet a woman who is financially, in a certain position, and all these different narratives I see pertaining to women dating who are, business owners or six-figure earners. Like, what have been some of your challenges with that?
Girl, because I've had some. I'm sorry, I gotta laugh because I was just talking about this, but men can't handle it. They can't. I do think that there are still men who can, but I think generally speaking,
they come a dime a dozen.
I'm just saying, I don't want to say they're not out there, because I know they're out there. But honestly, I feel like, just from experience and my past couple of relationships, honestly, I've kind of always had a boss mentality. I've kind of always been a don't tell me what to do kind of person. Very free-spirited in my own lane. Not to mention, my brand is called Sexy and Snatched. So, everything about me is all about, keeping my body tight, being sexy, being that girl. I'm kind of a walking billboard for my brand. It's kind of just who I am naturally, and that's what they like. pursue me.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we get in the relationship and I'm still all about my brand, still doing all of the things that I was doing when we met, and what attracted you, to you, kind of keeping it going, because this is what I do. I would get the comments about, why you always gotta, take sexy pictures and, selfies, or why you always gotta this, or when we're out in public and, I can be dressed down like this, the men will give me looks, and now the man that I'm with his mood is thrown off for the entire rest of the day because, and I'm just like, that shit's so unfair. Mm-hmm. And even when it comes to the money, being a 6-figure business owner, I did experience, the sly comments and remarks, like, damn, you grinding harder than me, or, it would just be the energy shift,
mm-hmm.
with that, and, the projections mm-hmm. that comes from that when coming from being a 6-figure CEO and kind of experiencing what I experienced when I first moved here, which I'm kind of just now coming out of, that healing streak that I had to go through. My finances decreased. Mm-hmm. And I was with someone who I feel like after, now that we're done, when I look back on it, I feel like sought after me because of where they thought my finances were and was going to continue to be. And then it was like once they seen that I was kind of going through a downward spiral, mm-hmm. I was treated like the gum at the bottom of your shoe, because it was kind of the sly remarks like, damn, you done fell off, ain't you? Or like, damn, I thought you had it going, this kind of that. And I was like, so what was the intentions and motive here?
Mm-hmm.
So, it gets people acting real crazy, the masculine energy when it comes to, feminine energy doing what needs to be fucking done. Mm-hmm. It's an issue. Mm-hmm. And I guess my question is, because I'm still trying to figure out, what is the fucking issue?
Right. And I think, unfortunately, there's two sides to that coin. Agreed. In my opinion.
Yes.
There's men who don't measure up, who find it offensive. Mm-hmm. There's men who look at your grind, your grit, your ability to manifest mm-hmm. your dreams to reality, that who have challenges and trouble doing the same, or who may be settling for just, a job, a regular, just, not, I don't want to say settling, but who are content with, 50 to 75, K a year, careers, and they see that you're not interested in that mm-hmm. life. You want more. Yeah. You're striving and creating and manifesting more. And it makes them sometimes feel like, I ain't doing enough, but I don't really want to do more. Yeah. So let me, try to make her feel like she's doing too much. Down a little bit. So, and then there's the men who make a lot of money and who use that fact of themselves as a selling point. But when you come to the table and you don't care about that because you got you on that end, now they have to present a little more. Now they have to come with some emotional intelligence. Now they got to come with a new level of respect. Now they got to actually show love instead of using their money you know what I'm saying? So there's it's difficult. It's tricky. It's tricky because you want a man that makes like the same amount as you, but they can't really use that to cook you because you got that. And then you try to, dabble in the area of a man that maybe doesn't make as much. And then there's the insecurities and the projections and this is not all men across the board, but these are the challenges.
This is we're speaking from our own experience.
Yes, these are the challenges. And me personally, I've entertained men who down the line, let it be known in their actions and in their lackluster that they wanted to be taken care of.
Oh, Jesus.
I've entertained men who down the line, exuded the energy that they wanted to use me. They wanted to steal from me.
Sassy.
Yes, very sassy. So the experiences that we have, you know, as women who are go-getters, who are gritty, who are grinders, who are believers in themselves, who are manifestors and creators of and innovators. And, you know, we will things into existence for ourselves financially and creating avenues of income. And it can be very, I don't know if intimidating is the word.
I don't know if it's the word either. Cause
I guess it might be discouraging to a man who's not doing the same or doesn't tap into their ability to do the same. But you know, it's really unfortunate that, you know, but I think I've been saying recently, you know, you kind of gotta go through the duds to get to the hubs. You know, if you desire love and relationship, even in the realm of being the kind of individual that, you know, is creating financial stability for herself, these unfortunate experiences that we experience, they can get discouraging. They can make you feel like I'ma just chill out and enjoy my business and my money and my kids.
And my kids.
Yeah. Because it's hard out here for a pimp. Yeah. It's tough. But I think, you know, you gotta keep faith. There's men out there who are balanced and who've had some therapy.
And I actually experienced that shift all at one time. Like when you were talking about the flip of the coin, where you were saying how the ones who have the money, but then when you show them that it's not just about the money, they get all discombobulated. Because I was single, and then someone with money came to me, and at first the money did excite me. But then I went through a spiritual transformation while in a relationship with them, and the money no longer excited me. So then that's when we hit because he was like, okay, well, now what did I do? But I was already in love with him. So then we, you know, listen.
Yeah,
I think there's the missing link is what we're listening to, what we're watching,
what we're consuming,
what we're being influenced by.
Yep, absolutely.
The men are like, okay, let me go get my bread up then, and I can have every bitch I want. And then now, when you got the women who are like, okay, we've had our run with the men with money, but I kept losing myself. Let me check in. Check in with self, find self, which when you find yourself, the money finds you. So now you don't need nobody else for that. Now what?
Yep. Now what you got under your money? Yep. Where's your substance? Where's your character? Yeah. And now we're digging into the root.
Yeah.
Now we're digging into the
roots is the part that don't nobody want to get into.
Exactly. The roots is the part that most men don't want exposed.
That's the part. And when we are naturally exposers, let's get into that too. When we naturally expose, these are the same women who, when we walk in a room, we don't have to open up our mouths because our light exudes. Imagine what that does to someone you sleeping next to every night who's still trying to hide behind the shadows.
Who's still trying to hide behind the bag.
Listen, still trying to hide behind the bag. Because let's not forget how dark the frequency can get when it comes to money.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And that's so good. That's so good because, you know, you envision and see the push that having money solves all these different, but no, ma'am. There is a light side of money, of having financial stability that creates a sort of, you know, peace and you know, less worry, financial freedom, and that's cool. But there is a dark side. There is a dark side to being financially abundant, you know. They say more money, more problems, and that can be real and true in some aspects. And everything has its duality. Everything has its light and its dark.
That's the part.
Yeah, and I don't think people explore or accept the dark parts of having, you know, financial abundance.
Having anything. Anything.
Yeah, true indeed. Okay, so as far as the twerk house, and as far as Weight Drip, how has it been?
Those are my babies.
How has it been for you building your team? How has it been for you in the aspect of needing help with your business? Because once you grow to a certain point, you need help. Yeah. And you're so used to doing everything on your own, because in the beginning of building a small business, in the beginning of entrepreneurship, that's kind of how it is. You know, you're doing everything on your own. You're the photographer, you're the content creator, you're the shipper, you're the buyer, you're the the printing the labels. You're doing everything.
Yeah.
So in your journey, what has it been like? Seeking help or getting the assistance that you need to be able to make your business continue to operate optimally.
Yeah. Girl, you just asking me all the questions that somebody else needs to be answering, because I'm still, but no, seriously, like, when it comes to Weight Drip in the twerk house, girl, like, got my thumbs itching, because I feel like that's exactly where I am now. I've grown to a part of, and I feel like that's why I felt stuck the past year or so, because I'm like, if I gotta do all that, I ain't doing it. If I gotta do all of this, I am not doing it, because I've done so much since 2017. I've worn so many hats by myself, and I experienced such a big burnout 2 years ago that, again, I am just now climbing out of. That was the worst thing. Like, to know what it is you want to do, but not being able to get up because you are so tired and you're so bruised up and you're just so like, I can't take no more. But still knowing that basically the promise and the pain is playing in the same fucking backyard. Like, literally. So it's like, okay, now my motherfucking ass, my happy-go-lucky ass goes and get a building. And I'm like, you already needed help before you got the building. What did you think you was going to need once you got it? And I'm just like, okay, God, okay, come on, I need your help. So it's been feeling like help, like consistent help. People that are just as dedicated as you are. I feel like it's where, because I will get on Indeed and put intern position on there ASAP, and it works out really great for me. I get some really great interns that are still in college, that are still learning. But the consistency when it comes to really building and having the knowledge, like the thing about the interns are they're still getting a lot of the knowledge just like us. So it's best I'm at the stage where now the interns aren't even good enough no more. They did something for me for like that first year when I got into hiring, but now it's like, nah, you gotta hire big name people. Like, you gotta hire people that already know the job. They can look at your business with a lens and say, oh, I know exactly what it's going to take to fix that issue. I know exactly what it's going to, not the trial and error. I'm so tired of the trial and error at this point. Like, I've been trial and erroring for a while, and now it's like, okay, now it's time to hire people in these different positions that know exactly what to do. So, I feel like the consistency of the people that can be dedicated to the brand as much as you are, because I've had people come in and they will say they know these things and they will say they want to do these things, but these are just hobbies for them, seems like. It's like, trying to get them to lead, eat, breathe, and shit what it is that it takes to get the ball rolling and getting everything on the roll. That's the most difficult part. Like, people not being sure of what it is they want to do in life, but coming into these positions, like, I think I can. No. What do you know for sure you can do? So that's been the biggest thing for me, finding the people that are dedicated to the brand. I try to keep all women on my team. I just feel like we get it on a different level for the type of services and products that I have. But then you get all that energy, that female energy, working together, and then you got everybody in their feelings. So I'm just like, okay, let me pause. But I think the biggest hurdle, in all honesty, is finding dedicated people.
Yeah.
Dedicated. Like, dedicated.
I absolutely agree. With a salon, a brick and mortar salon, that has definitely, I concur. Getting people that aren't interested in just reaping all the benefits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Getting people that are interested in a give and take. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When it comes to the stylists that come into the salon, I offer a lot, because as a stylist coming into this market from where we're from, leaving Indy and coming here into this market as a, trying to be a hairstylist, it was like, it's so oversaturated. Mm-hmm. How do I stand out? Mm-hmm. How do I, build clientele? Mm-hmm. How do I do the, and I had to get it out the mud. Yes. I didn't have anybody holding my hand. I didn't have anybody giving me guidance. I didn't have many people that were there to kind of guide me through this market to become stable, to become consistent, to build the clientele, to grow my skills, to learn how to market, to learn how to stay consistent in that area, to learn how to beat the algorithms, to learn how to create quality things, to market and promote my business, to learn how to, you know what I'm saying? And so I offer this to stylists, especially those who are fresh out of hair school, because this is the stuff that I didn't have that I wished I had. You know what I'm saying? And I don't ask for much in return, but what I do ask for in return, I expect wholeheartedly, because I'm going to give you so much. I'm going to create content for you. I'm going to market and promote you. I'm going to provide you with everything you need to be successful.
Yes.
But it's like, it's hard getting people to be dedicated to your vision, your business. Ooh. But what boggles my mind is how people aren't even dedicated to their own.
Yep.
You're not even dedicated and committed to being consistent for yourself.
Yes.
Because when you're consistent for yourself in what you want to do in these markets, it translates to a certain level of consistency for the business that you're working in. You know what I'm saying? As a stylist within a salon setting, if you're consistently promoting yourself, and those clients have to come to the business it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Your marketing and promotion of yourself as a stylist is also marketing and promotion of the umbrella of the business that you're working in. Someone marketing and promoting, come to Twerk House and take my class as an instructor within this space, is marketing and promoting the Twerk House. Them promoting the fact that they are an instructor and they offer classes in this space. So being dedicated to yourself, to your own growth, to your own success is going to translate when you join forces with a business that's going to do the same thing for you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but people don't want to do that.
Nope.
I
don't get it though.
I don't either. Like, you won't post yourself, but you expect me to post you?
If someone would have given me this opportunity, because I didn't have these opportunities.
Yo!
I had to, like you said, get it out the freaking, I am getting it out the mud. This is the trenches. All I'm asking you to do is show up.
Post once a day. It takes 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
But I've personally had so much trouble getting people to understand that. Social media is such an amazing tool for exposure. So powerful.
Yeah.
And it's free.
And
it's
free.
Easy.
Yep.
All you have to do is be consistent.
Yeah.
And you can build off of these free platforms for the now anyway. Because, they shift things to make it harder for you to be able to get the exposure and the success or whatever. But it's still an opportunity to expose who you are, what you do. You know what I'm saying? And people won't know unless you... We don't live in the... I started as a stylist in a time where there was no social media.
No.
I had to...
brand. I had 300 followers when I first started.
You got to get out and pass out flyers and put them on the cars, all at the Walmart and the Kroger and the you got to, you have to put yourself out there, like physically, literally. Yeah. And now you have these platforms where you can sit in your bed and just post in the group, post on your profile, post in the, you know what I'm saying? And you're constantly coming up. There are people searching these hashtags that you can utilize to expose yourself. They're searching for what you're doing. They're searching for what you have to offer. Yeah. Just use the platform. Block out an hour per day, 1 hour, half an hour out of 24 hours and post on a daily basis. You will win. You will see growth. You will, but that's the hardest thing for me to get people to understand, to get people that I've tried to have come into the business to understand. Yeah. And it's the small things that it's the small snowflakes that create the big snowball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And I just think that having a by any means mentality as a female entrepreneur there's nothing less. You can't have anything less. No. You cannot have anything less. As an entrepreneur, period. Because entrepreneurship is one of the hardest ships you'll ever sail.
The hardest, yeah.
And I, having that by any means mentality is so necessary. When you're going to invest your money, when you're going to invest your creativity, your blood, sweat, and tears into building something that can change your life, that can change other people's lives. Yeah. You have to really have a certain level of dedication and by any means necessary mentality. And that's where all of this stuff starts, in the mind. In the strength of the mind, in the mindset, in the being able to be a visionary. And that's why I know this is not for everybody. Yeah. It's absolutely not for everybody. But for those who go into entrepreneurship and they get down in those trenches and they, expose themselves wholly and completely to the process and they surrender to it and allow all the information to flood in, and then for them to utilize that information and knowledge to execute and build something beautiful, I think is the most amazing freaking thing you can do. Yeah. Especially as women, when we've been so, held back and suppressed from our greatness, from the spiritual aspect to the financial aspect to the racial aspect. There's so many barriers that we break through being successful entrepreneurs. Yeah. So this is why I am so appreciative of your presence, of your input, of your story, of your triumph. And you sharing it here and, coming to just be a part of the She-E.O podcast, because I definitely have a heart for highlighting this stuff, because there's so many women out there who want the keys and the gems that just aren't, they say the game is to be sold, not told. And there are people that are giving half of, the information for the price of an arm and a leg. Yeah. And it makes it hard for people to really get what they need to really not just start a business, but to build and maintain a business. So this is what this platform is all about. And I definitely appreciate your story and your presence and your time, letting us know how you as a She-E.O have found success. So let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, absolutely. So y'all can find me on all platforms under Weight Drip, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. My personal name, Terica Bobo, for Facebook as well. YouTube, Living Life with Weight Drip. Definitely follow my YouTube, because that is about to be my focus moving forward. Out of all the platforms, we're trying to move to YouTube. So
nice. All right. Well, I thank you, Queen.
Thank you for
Queen Weight Drip,
Nice.
Queen's Workhouse. You're
Yes.
welcome. My pleasure. And this has been another episode of the She-E.O podcast. Make sure y'all go to She-E.O Tees, grab your merch. Make sure y'all follow your girl, Kelsey Nykole, on Instagram. Make sure y'all follow the YouTube, follow the She-E.O journey. Thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment, share. I greatly appreciate it. Thank y'all for your time, your energy, your love, and your presence as well. Y'all be great.